about slopes. What are some things that you remember? Okay. So, I'm going to write that down here. You said the steepness of line. Okay. So, not quite yet. Can you tell me, so steepness, you guys know what the word steep means? Okay, so if this was a hill, steeper would be at a incline that had a bigger angle with the ground. Okay, so what else do we remember? Yeah? Yeah, so slope can sometimes, we have a little spot for that, we'll put these in a minute, but yeah, sometimes things have negative slope when they go from top left to bottom right, or bottom left to top right would be positive, right? Abby? Yeah, I'm going to write that down because really the slope, by definition, I'm going to say is the rise over the run. Now I'm going to write other things because slope has lots of different meanings. So rise over run. Another way of writing that is the change in y coordinates over the change in x coordinates. Now, sometimes in word situations, the y means something, okay? And so then we don't necessarily call it slope, but I'm going to put this under the meaning. Sometimes we call it the rate of change. The rate of change. Let's talk about the rainfall, for instance, this morning, okay? Let's say I had a cup sitting out on my window, and every hour for several hours I measured the height of water in the cup. So then it started at 0, and let's just say for the sake of generality, then it went to 2 inches the next hour, and then it went to 4 inches the next hour. Then I would say, okay, yeah, the slope is, what was it going up every hour? 2. But what does that mean? That means we're getting 2 inches of rainfall or water per hour. So that's what I mean by sometimes slope means rate of change. Okay. What else? What else? Do you remember this letter M? Have you ever heard? Ooh, yeah. Caitlin?
Yeah, I know the equation.
A little later on, we're going to talk about y equals mx plus b, and m represents the slope. Okay. All right. So, what is the formula for slope if I have 2 points?
We y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1.
It's y2 minus y1 over x2 over x1, or you actually can do y1 minus y2, but on the bottom, what do you have to do? X1 minus x2. Okay. And I'm going to assume that you know, but I'll write it down. That is if the slope, if we have a line through 2 points, and our 2 points would be, we'll call them x1, y1, because ordered pairs come xy, and x2, y2. Okay, so Chloe already told me about negative slope. Let's draw just some random pictures, okay? These aren't, they're not going to be exact. She said this. If it started in the top left and went to bottom right, that's negative slope. positive slope would mean something like this. Then I have zero slope and no slope.
Zero slope is like coming down.
Zero slope, actually, here's why. This is zero slope. Because is this line going up?
No.
No, it's going up 0, and it doesn't matter what's on the bottom because 0 over a number is just 0. So horizontal lines we would say have slope of 0. No slope is a vertical line, and here's why it's a vertical line, because you would have a 0 on the bottom. If you up here used the slope formula and you had two x coordinates that were the same and you subtracted them on the bottom, you get a 0 on the bottom of a fraction. Can we have 0 on the bottom of a fraction?
No.
So that's why we say the words no slope, and I often will write this, undefined slope, because I don't want people to think no slope means slope of 0. So you can use the word undefined if that's confusing to you. Okay, now I'm going to use the concept of rise over run. When a line is graphed, what you can actually do is figure out the rise. Rise, R-I-S-E, rhymes with wise. Wise, not smart wise, but wise as in the y coordinate. Okay? Why am I pointing that out? Because if rise is on the top, that means the y's are on the top, the y value. So I always think rise over run, rise rhymes with y. Alright, rise means, I always go to the right, by the way. Always to the right, that way the bottom of my fraction is always positive. If the line is going up and to the right, then it's positive. If it's going down and to the right, then it's negative. Alright, here we go. So, notice the scale. These are going by 2's. Do you see how this is a 4? Doesn't that imply this is a 2?
Mm-hmm.
So every half of a tick mark is a 1. Alright, here we go. This is going down. Remember, these are 2's. Okay? Down 2, 4, 6. Over 1, 2, 3. Okay? I'll do that again. If it's going by 2's, that means it's like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, down 6, over 1, 2, 3. So what's the rise over the run then? Negative 6 over 3, which we can reduce to negative 2, or negative 2 over 1, or negative 2. Alright, let's do this one. Now let's look at the scale on this. Do you see that this is a scale of 1?
Mm-hmm.
So now I can just use the grid. Both ways. This is 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, here we go. We're going to go from this point, and we're going to go up to the next point. How far is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we're going to go over 1. So what's the slope of this one? 4, and you can write 4 over 1, but we know that that is 4. Alright, question so far? Okay. So, use the skis. Use the skis on the little winter bird. Is it a little bird? He looks like a little bird. Okay, he's skiing. Yikes. He's going, you'd be in lots of trouble if you'd be going at that steepness, right? So, what kind of slope is this, did we say?
0. Or undefined.
Undefined. Okay, so I'm going to highlight this so we understand. I'm finding the slope of the skis. This is undefined slope. Okay, and you can think of it as this guy is probably off the ski slope and going straight down. And then on this one, he's not moving. So he's going 0. Okay. Okay, so now I just showed you with a graph how you can do rise over run, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But what if you didn't want to graph these points? Remember how I said that on the top it's the change in the y's, and on the bottom it's the change in the x's? And so the slope, the formula, okay, I'm going to say if a line goes through x1, y1, that's what we were talking about before, and x2, y2, the slope equals, on top, y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1 or you can do y1 minus y2 over x1 minus x2. But those are the only two choices. What variable do you not see on the top? X's. And that reminds me of the time in 7th grade, 8th grade, where I took a slope quiz and I did run over rise on the entire quiz. How do you think that turned out? Now, it was a good learning experience because I never did it wrong again. But I understand that you mix them up. That's why we go slow. Rise over run. Rise rhymes with y. All right, here we go. Let's take these 2 points. We're going to plug them into the slope formula, and we're going to find the slope of that line. So, in the 0.75, which one is the y coordinate? 5. What? You're just going to tell me? Oh, sure. 5 minus what, Riley? Careful. 7 is an x coordinate. It doesn't say y minus x. It says y minus... Is this a y coordinate? Do the y minus the y. Now, did you see how I went e minus f? So on the bottom I have to do the same deal. Now on the bottom I do the x coordinate. So what's the x coordinate of e? 7. Don't write -2. It's minus a -2. Yes. Okay. So what's 5 minus 0? 5. What's 7 minus a -2? 9. The slope of the line EX is 5 over 9. All right. Notice I did y1 minus y2 that time, okay? Just to show you you can do either way. Let's say I started at n this time. And remember, rise rhymes with y's. Okay, so what am I going to do on the top? If I start. So I'll start at n just to show that I can do it that way, okay? You can do it either the first point or the second point. -7 minus -1. Okay, and then here 0 minus 8. What is negative 7 minus a negative 1? Negative 7 plus 1, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Which is, you're right, negative
Yeah.
6. 0 minus 8, isn't that negative 8?
Yeah.
If I have a negative over a negative, it makes that a positive. And can we reduce 6 over 8?
Yes.
By 2, right? 3 over 4. Alright, would you try the last one, please? Would you find the slope through negative 4, 3, and negative 10, 9? I'm going to show you both ways. Oops. Alright, if you did it this way, just watch please. If you did forwards, you would get negative 6 over 6. Watch if I go backwards. 9 minus 3. Okay, are these the same thing?
Yes.
Yes. What is negative 6 over 6 or 6 over negative 6, Riley? Negative 1. Negative 1. You don't have to write it twice. I'm just showing you, you get the same thing.